Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov's chess channel and welcome to the round 6 of the US Chess Championship in St. Louis, USA. So after 6 rounds, Hikaru Nakamura took the lead. He has now 4 points. Fabiano Caruana is behind him with 3.5 points. And I really want Hikaru Nakamura to have a good result in this tournament because I always considered Hikaru Nakamura to be at least a world championship challenger, but he plays many of the streams which could maybe affect on his game, and I really hope that he's going back on maybe 2800 level because I think he has all the potential. But today I wanted to show another game. I think it's a very nice game by a US chess prodigy, Awonder Liang against Varuzhan Akobian. Varuzhan Akobian, also a great grandmaster. He teaches chess on his on the chess channel of St. Louis, and I really like his videos because he has a very nice style of teaching chess, and I really like it because he takes his time, he explains these moves, he explains ideas, he explains famous games, and as said. But today the chess prodigy of Awonder Liang took to win, and with a very nice game. And in this game, Varuzhan Akobian had his chances. He played a very aggressive French defense line, and I myself don't like so much the French because it leads often to too static games sometimes. But in this game we had a really aggressive French defense, and maybe I'll change my opinion and try it out. So here we had the e4 by Awonder Liang, and Akobian answered with e6, which is his main opening against d4. He plays often the French defense, and when I watched a little bit this French defense, when I tried to study it, many of these games were really played by Varuzhan Akobian, and he has good lines in this opening. When you're trying out to watch his games, I think they're very instructive, because here he also came out very nice, very well from the opening, but he made two slightly mistakes, and that costed him the game. So here d4, we have d5, knight on c3, bishop on b4. The whenever variation, always an aggressive, with the idea, of course, black will doubling up the pawns, but in long terms this g7 could be a problem. In some occasion black will simply leave this g7 and castle queenside and try with the rook on g8, sort of an attack on the castle king. So here e5, we have c5, a3, bishop takes on c3, b takes c3, and this is now this common line. We have knight on e7 with some preparation, maybe to put knight on f5, g6, h5, creates sort of a blocking system on the king side, and here queen on g5 immediately. So here we have the c takes d4, and here Awonder Liang plays this most aggressive line with bishop on d3, and I've seen this line played by Stockfish and Lila, and this is, I think, one of the best way to continue, because you want to play here on fast development. Okay, you can take c takes d4 and similar ideas, but it leads, again, I'm telling you, this into this two static positions. Here Awonder Liang chooses this most aggressive line with bishop on d3, and here queen on c7 played by Akobian, and now knight on e2. And here if you try queen on e5, well, then you have c takes d4, and you get a tempo on the queen. If the queen removes, of course, here, then you have c3, and this would be, I think, a too dangerous attack for black to handle with, because the knight is already out, the bishops are aiming, the queen is on g4, so many tactical possibilities here for white. Or we can immediately take the g7 pawn. So as said, queen on e5 is not so good in this early stage of the game. So that's why d takes c3. Of course, you cannot take with the queen, but now you see black's attack on the queen side is a little bit fixed, because after d takes c3, the mobility of this pawn is not a problem now anymore for white. And here queen takes on g7 was played by white, and okay, the material is equal, but now after rook on g8 we have queen takes on h7, and now knight on c6. So Okay, you see, of course, black is preparing here this queenside castle. White doesn't have such an advantage because it's hard to push here the pawn immediately. And now you see this bishops are really aiming into on the king side, where of course black is not going to castle, and this could be of course a problem in long terms also for white, because we want to have our pieces coordinated on the side where opponents attack. So here Varuzhan Akobian tries this fast development just to castle. He doesn't care, and there is this tricky line. If you try rook takes on g2 immediately, well, then you get knight on g3, and your rook could be trapped with king on f1. So that's why here perfectly fine, knight on c6, healthy moves, really developing. Here bishop on f4, and now bishop on d7. So here bishop on g3, also improving the position of the bishop. The bishop is now really fixed on this very important square. It also prevents now in some occasions rook on g2, of course, if the knight somehow removes from this e2 square. So here knight on e4, and knight takes on e5, and castling by white. So queenside castle, we have an opposite sided castling here, and this is now really dynamic game. You see a French defense game. When I watched this game today, I was really excited because now we have a really dynamic, open files, open diagonals, many tactical possibilities. So I'm really happy with this outcome of this game. So here queen on h4 was played. Very important move, because we want to get use of this very important bishop, because the bishop is now pinning on the queen, and black will need support. Black will need another knight in order to defend, because we have immediate threat here, queen on f6. So if you try here knight from knight from e to g6, then we have queen on f6, and in the next move white can take the knight on g6, and then after that the knight on e5. So that's why here Akobian finds a very nice tactical idea in order to simplify the position, although he'll be up down the exchange, but it leads really into a simplified position in which he comes out, I think, very good from the opening. So here after bishop takes on c7, we have knight takes on h4, bishop takes on d8, but now rook on g2, king on h1, and now taking the bishop on d8. So he finds this very nice tactical line, as said, although he is down the exchange. But now we have a situation in which black has 6 pawns and white has only 4 pawns, and the most important thing here is that all of these pawns are connected. So we don't have many of the pawn islands, so it would be a problem if these pawns would be vulnerable to white's attacks, but it's really not so. Although in the next move Awonder Liang can take some pawns, but here with this very nice central pawns, black has also possibilities create a very dangerous pawn breakthrough in the center, and this could really deflect all of the pieces from the center and restrict the ability of these pieces to play. So that's why here rook on b1, of course white has to bring out the rook. He has to play with this last piece that hasn't played so far. So here e5 played by black. But if you try something like b6 in order to protect this b7, then you get this rook on b4, and basically it's game over, because if you try to if you get away with your knight, of course you lose the rook on g2. So that's why here e5 immediately creating this pawn breakthrough possibility, and here rook takes on b7 was played. So bishop on c6, now we have rook on b8, king on c7, and now rook on rook on h8 here played by Awonder Liang, and now d4. And of course you cannot take immediately this this knight on h4, because then you get a very nice discovered check. Here rook takes on rook on g4, and then after that rook takes on h4. So that's why f3 has to be played. And now knight on g6, we have bishop takes on g6, knight takes on g6, king takes on g2, and now knight takes on h8. And here the position again is a little bit simplified, but you see black has again possibilities here. Again, f5, e4 is really dangerous, so white has to be fast. Here Awonder Liang finds really nice tactical motifs just in order to improve the position of the rook here. So of course here h4 immediately creating sort of a counter threat, because we want to have threats also here from white's perspective, because as said, these 4 pawns in the center connected, they're really strong. They're still mobile, which is the most important thing. They're not blocked out. And but the problem for black is, if you try f5 immediately, well, then you get king on f2. After maybe knight on g6, we can play immediately here f4. And after maybe knight takes on f4, knight takes on f4, e takes on f4. Well, the mobility now of these pawns is really not dangerous anymore, so white can handle this pawn structure very easily. So you see, it's not so easy to push pawns here immediately in the center. You have to be careful, you have to take it slowly, you have to improve the position of the pieces, and then try this pawn breakthrough. So here after h4, f6, black continues with the compact pawn structure, and here king on f2, now king on d6, very important move. We want to play with our king towards the center, because it's basically an endgame already. Here h5 played by white, and now bishop on a4. Here rook on g1, we have knight on f7, and now rook on b1, bishop takes on c2, now rook on b7, and now knight on h6. And this is now this, well, slightly mistake, or it's a mistake by Varuzhan Akobian. Here I think a perfect move would be knight on g5, because combined this knight and this bishop are always covering this this square h7, and the connection between the pieces is perfect, because the knight is protected by this f6 pawn. We have maybe just to play king on e6 and protected f6. Still continue with these possibilities, just playing slowly f5 e4. So here after knight on h6, well, black lost sort of this coordination between the pieces. So the connection between the pieces now is the most important thing, because white has this rook, white has open files for the rook, and here I think, as said, you have to have the pieces connected. Here this knight on h6 is now really a problem, because it's vulnerable to your opponent's attacks through rook on b8 and then rook on h8. So here first Awonder Liang takes the pawn on a7, which is also important to have this one, this pawn as a pass pawn here on the a file. So here bishop on b3, and now a4. Bishop on c4, we have a5. You see white is simply threatening with the promotion, pushing his pawns forward. You see Varuzhan Akobian didn't push pawns because he was really a little bit slowed down by this a5 move. Now here c2, also creating this this potential threat of promotion, but the knight covers it, of course, and that's why white has also to be careful, because in the next move black threatens bishop takes on e2 and then the promotion on c1. So that's why knight on c1 immediately, because we want to have this square c1 covered with the knight. And here f5 finally played by Varuzhan Akobian, but that was also sort of a slightly mistake here by black, because here a perfect move would be d3, because now black is threatening immediately d2, and in the continuation rook on a8 has to be played. If you try knight on f5, then we have rook on rook on d8, king on c5, and then here after trades of pieces on d3, the position again would be really simplified, and this could lead maybe into a draw. It's now really dangerous here for white if he doesn't take the pawn on d3, because here we can play knight on d4, cutting out this very important file for the rook. So that's why white would be forced here to take the pawn on d3. So see, I think with this d3 move, black would be perfectly fine. But here instead of d3, Akobian played f5, and he probably wanted to have this pawns connected. He wanted to have really a pawn majority in the centers. He wanted to push them, to push out the king, because we have really 4 pawns in the center, but we cannot move them. That's the problem. And I don't know, if I would play here as black, I would probably also play this f5 move, because I think if I manage to push these pawns to the 6th rank, or of course from white's perspective on the 3rd rank, this would be game over for my opponent. But here this d3 is, I think, a better move. So here after f5 we have rook on h7, here rook on knight on g8, and now h6. You see, now we have many threats now by white. The pawn is already on the 6th rank, and we know how knight really hardly handles these pawns on the sides, on the a, on the h file. Here white is really at the advantage, and now Akobian finally pushed this e4. So here we have f takes e4, f takes e4, and although we have now 3 connected pawns in the center, they're still on the 4th rank. They're not on the 3rd rank. If there would be on the 3rd rank, this would be game over for white. But now now Awonder Liang finds a very nice tactical move, and you can pause the video and try to find this very nice tactics for yourself, because from that point here it's game over for Varuzhan Akobian, because here the knight is really out of game, and that's the most important thing. As I said, the knight has always his problems while playing against the side pawns on the a and the h file. Here Awonder Liang finds this very nice move, rook on d7 with a check. After king takes on d7, we have now h7. Here we have e3, king on f3, now e2, and now king on f2, again preventing this promotion on e1. So you see how the king here is used as a very nice defensive piece, because the king is cutting out all of these important dark squares. Here knight on f6 was played, but now h8 with the promotion of the queen, and now it's basically game over. But here Awonder Liang finds also very nice tactics. We have king on e7, queen on h4, first creating the spin on the knight, because we are not allowing the knight to go maybe into the center, support these 3 pawns, and here after d3, very important move, here queen takes on c4, because if we get rid of this pawn on d4, well, these are not any more mobile pawns, because the queen and then the king, of course, will always catch them. So that's why d3 with the preparation maybe to play d2. But now queen takes on c4, we have d2, queen on e2 with the check. We have king on f8, now queen on d2, now knight on e4, we have king on e2, and now knight takes on d2, king takes, but now the king can never catch this pawn, and of course it's a completely winning endgame here for white. So I think very nice game, very nice dynamic French game. Varuzhan Akobian played his favorite opening, but here Awonder Liang, as said, a chess prodigy from the USA, very talented. He's still 15 years old. In the next month I think he will be 16 years, and he still has potential. He still has room for improvement, and let's see how his chess career will improve. I wish both of them all of the best, and I'm really excited to see the continuation of the tournament, because in the future we will have the clash. We will have the clash between Hikaru Nakamura and Fabiano Caruana. And as I said, I really want Hikaru to have a nice tournament, because I want him really to be in at least in the top 5 now on the chess rank list, and I think he has all the potential, maybe also to be a challenger against Magnus Carlsen. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Meanwhile, you can watch my other commented chess games from some other tournaments and current tournaments that are going on. And you can also watch my best chess games of all time if you want to see the best chess games that have been ever played in chess history. And you can also subscribe to my channel. Thanks you for watching, guys, and chess is the best, of course.